Look, if you're a CAT aspirant, you've probably heard it a million times. If you want a top-tier management education, it's either an IIM or nothing. Well, welcome to this explainer, where today we are taking a strictly data-driven approach to break down that ultimate MBA dilemma. What if I told you that some IITs actually outperform several top IIMs when it comes to ROI, specific placements, and industry connections? Today, we're comparing the actual numbers, not just the brand names.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to break it down into 6 parts. The big MBA myth, decoding the CAT cutoffs, the ultimate ROI reality, placements and top recruiters, your long-term career path, and finally, making your final decision.
Right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the big MBA myth.
There is this deeply entrenched belief out there that top IIMs are literally the only valid choice for an ambitious MBA aspirant. But I've got to challenge you directly on this. Should you really be dropping 30 lakhs on an IIM? Because when you look at the raw data, an MBA from a top IIT costs roughly half as much, yet the outcomes in certain sectors can easily rival or sometimes even beat the IIM experience. It really all comes down to what kind of career you are actually trying to build.
To get why this happens, we need to look at the DNA of these institutions. IIMs are dedicated management institutes. They hold an elite, legacy global brand specifically for general management and strategy. IITs, on the other hand, carry a phenomenally strong engineering and technology brand. Because of that, their MBA programs are inherently wired directly into product development, business analytics, and tech. They are essentially technology-driven business engines.
Now, a quick heads up, not every single IIT offers an MBA program. Today, our data focuses on the heavy hitters. We're talking about IIT Delhi's Department of Management Studies, IIT Bombay's SJM/SOM, plus Kharagpur, Madras, Kanpur, Rookie, and ISM Dhanbad. These are the key players really disrupting the traditional management education landscape right now.
Moving on to Section 2, decoding the CAT cutoffs.
Now, what's really interesting here is the threshold comparison. For the top IIMs, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Calcutta, you are staring down a grueling safe percentile of 99.5 and above. It's intense. But look right below that. IIT Bombay offers a safe percentile window of 97.5 to 99, and IIT Delhi sits around 96 to 98. So the IITs give you this highly strategic entry point just slightly below that absolute peak IIM cutoff, without sacrificing elite outcomes.
All right, let's get into the money. Section 3, the ultimate ROI reality.
Before you go signing your life away on a mountain of student loan debt, just look at these massive fee disparities. IIM Ahmedabad is going to run you approximately 27 to 30 lakh rupees. Meanwhile, IIT Bombay is practically half that, sitting at 15 to 17 lakhs. And then you have the absolute wild card, FMS Delhi, costing just 2.3 lakhs. The point is, the top IIMs demand double the upfront financial risk on day one.
Which actually brings us to this absolutely staggering number, 14.8. That is the ROI multiplier for FMS Delhi. Wow, right? It's a massive reality check that proves one very simple thing. Paying the highest fees for a legacy brand absolutely does not guarantee the highest financial return. So, let's break down exactly how we get that number. If we use a simple ROI formula, basically just taking the average salary and dividing it by the tuition fees, the truth gets really interesting. FMS is obviously in a league of its own at 14.8. But look who is next. IIT Delhi at 1.8 and IIT Bombay at 1.6. They actually outperform IIM Lucknow's 1.5 and IIM Ahmedabad's 1.3 in pure financial ROI. Why? Purely because their tuition fees are just so much lower, while the salaries they pull in remain completely competitive.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, placements and top recruiters.
So the crucial point here is that to understand the real job market, we have to talk about the median CTC. Simply put, the median is the exact middle value of all salaries in a batch. If you line up 100 students, it's whatever the 50th student is making. You definitely want to look at this instead of the average, because a few massive top-tier outlier salaries can heavily skew the average upward. The median is just a much safer, far more accurate indicator of what a typical student is actually going to earn.
And when you apply that median lens in these colleges, a really fascinating picture emerges. For IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi, the gap between their average and their median CTC is basically negligible. It's incredibly consistent. But for IIM Ahmedabad, the average is around 35 lakhs, while the median drops down to 30. That gap exists because of a few super high-end outlier offers. So really, the median proves that the everyday reality for an IIT graduate is much, much closer to an IIM graduate than most people think.
Yeah, you might be wondering, who's actually handing out all these salaries? Well, there's significant recruiter overlap. If your absolute dream is top-tier strategy consulting, McKinsey, BCG, Bain, they for sure strongly favor the top IIMs, no doubt about it. But tech giants like Amazon and Flipkart, plus massive consulting and ops firms like Deloitte and Accenture, they aggressively recruited both. So if you're eyeing tech or operations, both of these doors are wide open for you.
Okay, zooming out a bit, Section 5, your long-term career path.
Because, look, an MBA isn't just about that first paycheck. It's about where you're going to be 5, 10, or 15 years down the road. And this brilliantly illustrates how you need to map your specific industry interests to the right school. Want consulting or investment banking? The holy trinity of IIM A, B, and C is just unmatched. But if your goal is product management, business analytics, or operations, IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi are literally built to dominate those fields. For pure general management, though, the IIMs definitely remain the standard.
And we see this exact same thing play out when we look at alumni 8 to 15 years out. IIM alumni frequently fill those broader C-suite roles. They're your CEOs, consulting partners, venture capitalists. IIT MBA alum, thanks to that deep tech heritage, usually conquer the tech and product spaces. They become the product directors, the business heads, strategy leads, and tech founders. Both paths are highly lucrative. They are just completely different avenues to leadership.
All right, it is time for the final verdict. Section 6, making your final decision.
So here's the deal. You should definitely target an IIT MBA if your career goals align with product management, business analytics, operations, supply chain, or tech consulting. If you're chasing a tech-focused leadership role and you want to get there with lower upfront fees and a seriously high ROI, an IIT is just a phenomenal top-tier choice for you.
On the flip side, you should be aiming for a top IIM if your ultimate target is general management, elite MBB strategy consulting, or high finance and investment banking. If you can actually score that 99.5 plus percentile and you want the absolute strongest global alumni network across diverse business sectors, getting into a top 3 IIM remains the absolute gold standard benchmark.
I want to leave you with a final thought today. When it really comes down to it, what is your ultimate priority? Is it the legacy and prestige of a brand name, the mathematical reality of your ROI, or the exact specific role you want to wake up and do every single day? It might be time to drop the whole I am or nothing myth. Look closely at the data we covered, map it to your personal career horizon, and choose the path that actually serves your future. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.